Why does it appear that you spend most of your time in bed, lying down, motionless, almost as though a heavy weight has settled upon you? You may wonder, are you someone who tires easily, who lacks the will to act? Is this nothing more than laziness? Before hastily labeling yourself as such, let us pause and consider. There is, in fact, an overlap between what we term laziness and what we know as burnout. And distinguishing between the two requires a deeper understanding of both the conscious and unconscious forces at play. Burnout is not a mere mood. It is a negative state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. It arises when stress overwhelms the psyche and the individual's coping mechanisms falter. This pervasive state reflects the psyche's defense mechanisms, stretched to their limits, retreating from the demands of reality. A 2010 survey reveals that approximately 75% of adults in the United States have encountered symptoms of burnout, with over 40% experiencing it in severe form. This data should prompt us to delve further into the roots of burnout. For, as Freud would argue, only by exploring these underlying causes can we come to terms with what truly ails us. Let us now explore the signs that reveal that what you may perceive as mere laziness is in fact burnout, a condition rooted in deep psychological conflicts. 1. Disconnection from everything. Do you move through life as if detached, as though you are merely an observer of your own existence? This sensation, known as depersonalization, is often a hallmark of burnout. Freud spoke of dissociation as a defense mechanism, a means by which the mind distances itself from overwhelming stress or trauma. Those experiencing depersonalization report an emotional numbness, an eerie sense of watching their life unfold from a distance. You may feel estranged from your own identity, struggling with a profound sense of helplessness and an inability to control your own life. This is not laziness. It is a psychological withdrawal. 2. You once had motivation. Laziness is often considered a fixed trait, stable across time. Yet, if you once were driven, motivated, and high-achieving, only to find yourself now apathetic and drained, Freud would argue that this change is indicative of burnout, not laziness. The superego, which once directed your energies toward productivity and achievement, may now be overridden by the deeper forces of exhaustion. This shift from vitality to lethargy signals an internal conflict, one that needs to be addressed if balance is to be restored. 3. Loss of passion. Burnout reveals itself in the loss of passion for activities you once enjoyed. This is a key difference from laziness, which involves a general lack of desire to exert effort. Burnout, on the other hand, is characterized by a kind of psychic fatigue, wherein the very things that once provided joy now feel burdensome. Freud would suggest that this occurs when the ego becomes overwhelmed by the demands placed upon it, leading to a withdrawal of emotional investment. Overwork, stress, and constant striving may drive you to resent or even detest the very activities that once defined you. 4. Moodiness and irritability. Do you find yourself snapping at those around you, irritated by the smallest things? This emotional volatility is another sign of burnout. Freud would explain that when the psyche is overtaxed, the individual's defenses weaken, leaving them vulnerable to emotional outbursts. The id, the part of the psyche governed by primal emotions, may become unrestrained, manifesting in irritability and mood swings. This stands in contrast to laziness, which typically aligns with a more laid-back, indifferent demeanor. 5. Neglect of self-care. When burnout takes hold, self-care becomes an afterthought. You may stop grooming yourself, withdraw socially, and neglect basic needs like eating or sleeping properly. Freud would likely interpret this as a withdrawal of libido, not merely in the sexual sense, but in the broader Freudian context, where libido represents the energy of life and vitality. Burnout depletes this life force, leaving one with no energy to care for oneself. In contrast, laziness doesn't typically manifest in such a drastic decline of personal maintenance. It is burnout that drains the individual's capacity to engage in even the simplest of tasks. Sixth, gradual onset. One of the most telling aspects of burnout is its gradual development. Burnout does not strike suddenly. It progresses through stages, much like Freud's model of the psychosexual stages of development. As individuals move through the stages of burnout, honeymoon, onset of stress, chronic stress, burnout, and habitual burnout, the symptoms worsen, embedding themselves more deeply into the psyche. By the time one reaches the final stage, the fatigue is no longer fleeting but persistent and difficult to reverse. The exhaustion becomes part of the individual's habitual state, making them vulnerable to further mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety. Freud taught us that the psyche is a complex battleground of forces, some conscious, others unconscious, and that our behaviors are often driven by deeper conflicts than we realize. What may appear to be laziness is, in many cases, a form of burnout, a psychological state wherein the mind withdraws from overwhelming stress in an effort to protect itself. By recognizing these signs early on, we can prevent burnout from becoming ingrained in our lives. If you or someone you know is exhibiting these symptoms, it is crucial to reach out to a mental health professional and begin the process of healing. Self-awareness is the first step toward regaining control of your life. If you found this video helpful, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to PsyFactors for more insights into the mind and how our unconscious drives shape our behavior. Share this video with anyone you think may be battling the silent weight of burnout. And as always, thank you for watching.